These are real confiscated prison shanks. I got to see this display at Smoky Mountain Knife Works. It was one of the coolest and creepiest displays there, in my opinion.
New at 6, only Channel 2 Action News is taking you inside a raid of the Fulton County Jail. And this is just some of what strike teams confiscated. Things like drugs, cell phones, shanks, a makeshift hatchet, even a bullet. Channel 2 investigative reporter Mark Winnie has this exclusive story live from Northwest Atlanta. And Mark, the sheriff believes someone actually used drones to get stuff into the hands of inmates.
And the Fulton County Sheriff's Office says this is some of the contraband recovered in the massive shakedown we're on inside the Fulton County Jail. And a lot of the illegal cell phones, which can go for thousands inside the jail, drugs and tobacco recovered, came into the jail via illegal drone drops. Wait till you see the ingenuity involved, however misguided.
The assignment is very simple, ladies and gentlemen. The only thing we're going up here to do is a massive shakedown. We're looking for any weapons, drugs, any contraband that the inmates are not supposed to have.
Sheriff Pat Labat says the Fulton County Sheriff's Office jail strike team struck a vein of contraband quickly in the first zone they hit.
It's a cell phone and charger found within seconds of hitting his unit.
Yes. On the high security 7th floor of the Fulton County Jail.
This has been a high priority area for us with respect to drone activity.
And before Saturday morning was done, men and women normally assigned not just to the jail, but to the courthouse and across the sheriff's office, who had assembled in the early morning darkness and amassed a massive amount of dangerous material inmates aren't supposed to have, but did. Lots of makeshift weapons, including shanks, even a makeshift hatchet, cell phones, even a bullet, suspected drugs. The Fulton County Sheriff's Office says all this from one shakedown. These are more than a half dozen suspected crack pipes?
Yes.
Taken from inside the jail.
Yep.
The Sheriff's Office says the shakedown turned up 22 illegal cell phones, suspected marijuana, tobacco, plenty of pills, even a bottle labeled as the prescription drug promethazine. And then there are the weapons.
I'm surprised the building's still standing.
Most of the weapons made from things stripped out of the building.
From the plumbing shafts to the lighting fixtures.
We had watched as the stuff piled up in that one zone. Where'd those come from?
Cell 504.
It's just our commissary kiosk,
But what's it turned into?
a charging station.
There's some marijuana from California. This is found in the cells. And that's marijuana?
Yes, sir.
Through the inmates burning, they'll use, as you can see, the exposed wires up in the light fixtures, so they'll use that to start fires, and then they would just sit there until they can melt away the plastic. So the reason why now the inmates burn the holes inside of the windows is because they're using drones.
We told the story of drones in prisons, but drone drops are now a major factor in the contraband trade at the Fulton County Jail.
Absolutely. Some have crash landed and ultimately with different types of payloads.
Ain't tried. 15 on right. I'm away ain't tried.
Innocent or guilty?
I'm innocent. I'm innocent.
Near the zone, we got shakedown reaction from one inmate.
We don't have no problems back here. These folk coming up here antagonizing it. We ain't got no problems up here.
The inmate we interviewed on camera earlier this morning, what did you find in the cell he shares with somebody else?
We collected 2 cell phones out of that cell.
You know anything about a couple of cell phones?
No name about no contraband. No name about no contraband, no cell. I'm here away ain't tried.
In fairness, Natalie Ammons with the Sheriff's Office says there is no way to know if the cell phones belong to the inmate we interviewed, a cellmate, or someone else, and he was not charged with them. And I guess this image puts a fine point on the danger faced by staff and inmates here in the Fulton County Jail. The Sheriff's Office says the jail staff does smaller shakedowns on a regular basis, but the last one of this magnitude was shortly before Thanksgiving.
Hello, y'all. Welcome to Bam Bam Raw TV. I'm Bam Bam, a.k.a. the 411 Giant. Hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you know when my next video coming out. And response to my response to some of the questions from my YouTube fam is, what was my most exciting or thrilling fight. I think I'm reading this right. I think I'm getting this right. And it's like I'm trying to put that in place so that I can answer that properly and everything. Because number one, I don't endorse it, but I know in penitentiary, these are things that you're gonna have to do, or you want to, it's life in penitentiary. So again, I'm not endorsing who I used to be, but I'm gonna tell you the truth now. I've had quite a few knife fights while I was down, and a lot of them I initiated because I had a lot of stuff on my mind. But to answer your question, I think the stabbing and Pollock back and forth when we stab each other, that's like a number two. I think number one would be when after I had been locked up about 5 years in Leavenworth. I had been stabbing people and hitting people and going on because I was aggressive. But I think this was the first time a person started off hitting me and stabbing me first. So I kind of took that to heart. But let's go. Let me tell you the story, and you go from there. I'm sitting there. We had a homeboy, and the homeboy had harbored an individual who that it said that when the information got to us, we found out the individual allegedly was a rat, or he had ratted on some men's. So when we find this out, I had another homeboy named M1. They was always beefing, and I used to keep the car together. But hold on, man, it's all about the boot. We don't do that. We ain't going that. Ain't none of that gonna happen. And I always kept it down. And so when a guy from Texas come to me and said, "Hey, did you get that message?" Because he said that he went to another guy and told him, say, "Hey, man, I'm looking for Bam Bam." And said the other guy told him, turn him to send him to this individual. And this individual told him, "Okay, well, I got you. Don't tell Bam Bam. Don't say nothing about Bam Bam to Bam Bam about it." So when the guy found out who I was, he pulled up on me. And they had told him, "Man, you better let that little dude know what the message that was sent for him. Don't give it to no one." So he told me, I said, "Oh, so okay." So I told my homeboy M1, I said, "When your legal work, I got this dude working on your legal work. Let's get your legal work filed. You and this dude always beefing back and forth. I'm gonna let you go on. Y'all gonna take care of y'all business and get this over with because he inviolated." "All right, big homie, I got you. So it goes on. So now here was Memorial Day. I'll never forget Memorial Day. The guy done peeped this here already, but he got this guy from California who's in our business. So I go to all the California men that I respect, the BGFs, all of them. I said, "Man, who did?" I said, "Dude, what dude is to y'all, man? Because he's in Louisiana business and he out of line." I said, "So I'm gonna ask y'all." They said, "No, everybody from California." Said, "No, he from Cali, but he ain't with our crew." The BGF said that, Fire Trades, who was everybody. I said, "Okay then." So I just want to know, just tell him to stay out of our business, man. And so anyway, I come down there Memorial Day, and the spirit had already telling me, said, "Something ain't right." I usually be in there laying back getting drunk, I said, "Hold on, something ain't right." I jumped up to go to chow at last call. And I go to chow at last call, and I'm going to the chow, and I get down there, and I walk in there, my homeboy from Kansas, Chile and Zulu, them. They like, "Say, M1 going up there to fight dude?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "All right, shit." I said, "Shit, he'll whoop dude. He come up with me in the bottom. He come up fighting." I said, he gonna whoop dude to get dude the best fight he likes. He said, "No." But the other dude went behind him. I said, "Oh, shit, man." I turn around. So I turn around. Now I got to go back in Memorial Day. They were serving the free ups up in there. I got to go back. So when I go back, I'm walking to go up to the wreck. It's like this here. So it's a little hallway here. You go up the record, you go up the stair. So I got to pass by that hallway before I make this turn to go down to be able to get to my unit. So I'm walking in the hallway, and I see the California dude, and I see the homeboy and my homeboy M1, he up on the steps. Both of them standing down, they got their back turned to me. He could see me, and they sitting there, and I see the water cooler. That's how we got our knives through the metal detector in a lot of cases. So when I see the water cooler that had been broken apart, I already know. So I look at him, he see me. I look at him and I keep on going. I go there, go through the metal detector, go through the unit. Now you got to have knives for all occasions. So I go get my copper knives. I get my 2 copper spikes. You can't put them both together or they're going to go out. So I put one up top and I put one at the bottom. When I came back, I stuck this foot. You stick that first foot with that copper knife. You stick that first foot through there first to make sure that copper knife is not going through the metal detector at the same time that this knife around your waist is going through there. So I kicked the leg through there and walked on through, came through. So that's the first successful part. So now we come, boom, I hit the corner. Boom, I hit the corner. They still up there. Now one thing, any of my homeboys been on compound with me, or any men's I fool with, they'll tell you this here. I do not chastise you. I do not holler at you. I do not cuss at you, which I don't cuss much. I don't cuss anyway or much. I do not do that to you in front of people. Because if I do it to you, I'm doing it for your benefit, not for other people to hear. I call you in there and say, man, don't do that no more because that don't make sense. That ain't blah, 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 blah. But, so I see them, and one of them is about 190. I'm about 170 then. One of them about 190. Other about 230. So I said, okay. So I walk, and I'm trying to get him because M1 ain't the smartest, tool in the shed, and I love him. But so I'm trying to get him to catch on. So I said, man, what the hell? Every time I turn around, you into something, man. What do you got into it now? What's going on? I already know the play. I said, what's going on? What do you got into it now, man? I said, man, I'm getting tired of this here, man. I'm gonna deal with you myself. And they were looking. I said, man, I told you had one more time to do something, man. I said, man, I ain't keep on going through this here, man. And they parted like the Red Sea. I walk up there, and he can tell you this story. He's going to be able to tell it to you in a little bit. And he can verify this whole story. Matter of fact, if I talk to him on the phone, he can. But he getting out in just a little bit. So I walked through him. I said, man, what I told you? I walked up on him. I took this one out. Here you go. I said, y'all got y'all. I can tell y'all got y'all till you got here. And I told him, I said, hey, get dude. Been you and y'all been going. I said, y'all take him in there and y'all do y'all thing up on 7th floor Rick. Dude told him, oh man, don't make him do that, bam. Oh man, don't. I said, man, you stay out of business. I told you stay out of Louisiana business. The people told you stay out of Louisiana business. Go up there and handle that business, home. So our homeboy M1 grabbed him and was pulling him and going on it. And he's like, oh man, don't make him do this here, don't make it. And he grabbed M1 hand or shoulder. And I knock it off. I said, man, don't be grabbing my homeboy, man. Go on, y'all go up here. I said, man, this nigga will harbor somebody that he shouldn't have harbored. He harbored a rat. Now handle your business. You stay out of our business. He grabbed me in one hand again. So I pushed him. When I pushed him back, I said, man, don't put your hand on my homeboy. I said, man, you want to get it? I said, M1, get him on in there. And y'all you handle that business. So while he was dragging him on in there, the dude would go at him again. So I pushed the dude out the way. And when I pushed him, that something gonna come up. That something gonna hit me in the head. Bam! I always get hit in the head. Always. That's the problem being short. That something gonna hit me in the head. Bam! With that knife. When he hit me in the head, I felt it. Then he hit me again. Bam! I said, oh man, this nigga over here want to dance. I raised up. I got that out my sock. I come up, my head and bam, I caught him in the shoulder. Bam, he hit me again. I called him, bam. He hit me again, bam. Then I said, I got this. So I come on this rib cage. I started coming on that rib cage. As I come on that rib cage about 2 times, he couldn't take it. He took off. And he took off, and now I'm mad. I ain't got nobody to dance with. I'm like, man, I'm so goddamn. I mean, I'm mad as I ain't got nobody to dance with. So I kicked the door in with my homeboys, and they going in circles. They holding each other's shirt, and they iffing. So I come in there, and I grab the dude and started hitting him on the neck. When I started hitting him on the neck, so the dude started, that he caught me a good one right here. He turned around, started jugging, so he caught me a good one right here. But that's the one I had to spin on. Because if I had to took that straight, it would have went through there. So he was jugging hard. But so now they tussling going on. So I had told my homeboy how to chicken wing somebody instead of be doing all that foolishness, chicken wing, let me take his lung, then we decide what we're gonna do with him. But let's take the fight out of him. He going back and forth with the dude. So he had the dude, and I hit him. I think I hit him 3 times because the way he was taking up with dude, I hit him 3 times. I think I hit him shoulder 2 and maybe neck 1. I hit him 3 times, and then I went on and started getting the dude. So now when me and the dude is wrapping up, instead of catching the dude he swing back and catching me. And I end up they actually sent me to Marion lockdown for that. And they based on the fact they said the witnesses, they sent me and my homeboy, me and him one. They sent us both to Marion. They said that based on witnesses and the people that I had stabbed 2 people, and I was trying to tell the folks, hey, listen, I did all the stabbing. My homeboy man, M1 was just in there. Main one was just in there. I said, everybody know who he is, but anyway, he was just there, and he was trying to break us up because he had a legal case going on, and I wanted him to get there and make it. He wouldn't say nothing, and wasn't none of us gonna say nothing. But I said, no, I'm the one that did all stabbed. I said, I stabbed. Notice my knife, I stabbed all 3 of them. I look, I got my knife print on all 3 of them. I said, so, shit happens, going on like that. So y'all send me wherever. But the dude, they had already told the SIS what had happened and what I had did. So the SIS actually charged me with stabbing 2 people and charged everybody else with stabbing 1. So that means somebody up there had to tell them that I stabbed. By right, they could have said I stabbed 3 people. That I stabbed the one who took off running, and then I stabbed the one who stayed there. Because when they came up there, they came back with the one who ran off. And he was crying, told me, y'all didn't have to do him like that. Because the dude, he was laying there bleeding when they tell us to come on out. We coming out, come on out the 2nd floor bathroom. They telling us come on out. But we didn't try to throw our knives out the windows, but the window had a catch thing on it. So our knife, they got out, they retrieved our knife from that there, but I'm telling them that, hey man, I keep 2 knives. Anybody can tell you I keep 2 knives, blah, 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 blah. But anyway, they sent us both to Marion. We didn't get charged because every individual that involved in that had all day. But that situation was the first time I think anybody had stabbed me. I ain't gonna say stabbed me first, but that was the first time I had ever been stabbed first, and then hit a few times. And so it was a fight or flight. That was the opportunity right now. It's all right when you stabbing people, when you get stabbed back, that will separate people in jail. You got people who are going to stab somebody with a knife, but soon as you start putting work back in on them, they can't handle the pressure. So don't think just because you got a knife and you stick a person one time that he going to bow down and he going to lay down for you. You got to be prepared for the fight. And that's a fight that, and actually the dude was put in the cell with an individual that know me. And the dude said, he said, man, I hit that little dude, man, and I said, boy, he said, that's the worst thing I could have did. He said, it looked like it energized, man. And I didn't remember, I didn't recall saying it, but the dude that he was in the cell with from Denver, he told him, dude said, man, when he hit you, you said, oh man, that's just what I wanted. And he said, boy, you went to work like a Tasmanian devil. And I don't recall saying that because I be blacking out when I be in the zone. But I remember that, and I think that was probably the most exciting fight because it had my blood up and I was going back and forth. And I mean, and then the dude got, they gave me a revenge element because after the dude stabbed me, I stabbed him, 2 times? He stabbed me 3. And I left and I ain't had nobody to dance with. I'm like, man, you crazy. You don't bring me to the dance and not see me all the way through. I mean, you don't stab each other till we both gone or what? But you don't run off on me after you done started the fight. So I didn't have nobody to dance with, so I went in there with the intention of dancing. And I went in there and I did what I supposed to have did. I just ended up stabbing my homeboy a couple of times. But that was from him not listening. But I much love to him and everything. And as I tried not to keep his name, but he, thank God he'll be coming out here soon, and he's solid as he come. He'll testify to everything that I'm saying. He definitely testified all these people. I got people that's gonna be lined up. That's gonna be able to verify all the stories that I'm telling y'all. Because I ain't trying to put no extras on it. I'm just giving it like it is. I ain't proud of what I used to be. I ain't proud of where I have to live. But I'm giving to y'all straight. It ain't no picnic. You can make it if that's what you choose. If that's your ideal success. You can make it, but it ain't no field day. Thank you again. Hit that like button, subscribe, hit that bell icon, and so you can see when my next video come on. And I got a lot of more things that I want to tell y'all. I don't want to glorify these things, but I want to let y'all know they happen in penitentiary, because by surviving penitentiary, it's knowing these things. All right, peace.
Come on in, chicken, man.
Anytime, any moment, somebody can take your life for anything.
All these weapons are made to stab somebody or to have somebody stabbed. Some of the weapons that are confiscated here at Folsom Prison. For example, this weapon here was used on our main yard. You could still see the blood on it. And this was the actual called hit from one of the gang members. That means an inmate who we call a shock collar asked an inmate or told an inmate to stab somebody. A lot of our aluminum pieces are found inside our dining room area. They're cut from there. We have plastic weapons that are utilized here. Plastic spoons, styrofoam cups, combs, and Ziploc bags. They're melted down and then they're sharpened. Inmates are very ingenious. For example, here's a weapon that was found in our facility just recently. As you can see, that's a pretty effective weapon.
Gangs in prison are much more intense and ruthless than gangs in